This is the tale of a father and his blind daughter of 6 years, caught in the suffocating jaws of a communal riot. Those riots that seek to pulverize their souls, those riots that will walk like a grizzly bear on their stormed hearts, those riots which will make news headlines out of their corpses, those riots which will reduce the sacredness of their deaths to mere numbers. But wait, the father and the daughter are still alive, still holding on to hope like how an embryo clings to a mother. But what about the blind daughter? She thankfully cannot see the fanatics pouring kerosene all over their house. She cannot see the lava of hate rising in their eyes. She also cannot see the veins around the throat of the rioters jutting out when they call her father a bigoted piece of shit. But what can this 6-year-old angel know? What can she know of the ways we grown-ups get at each other's throats when our anger balloons like a never-stopping force of evil? Her father whispers in her pink ears, "It's all a game that we grown-ups are playing today. Nothing to worry about." Before the rioters come inside, he immediately hides the daughter inside the curve of a thick folded mattress in the corner of the house. And sure enough, the rioters surge inside the house like possessed bulls with flame torches and glinting swords. The flame of their torches reflects in the framed photographs of the father and his daughter hanging on the walls. The daughter is perspiring, forming tiny pools of sweat inside the curve of the mattress. She breathes the pungent air. She feels the throbbing ground. She hears their curses, and the only words she can figure out are the names of gods and goddesses. Her nostrils shiver when the heady mix of fire, blood, death, and hate reaches them. And then, before she knows, before she can make sense of this little game her father told her not to worry about, before her blind eyes can construct a hazy picture of what might be going on in the room through smells and sounds, before her reddening skin shudders in the sort of a fear a child should never know, before she can feel the warm embrace of her father one final time in her bones, she hears the one shriek she was never supposed to hear, her father's. And now, she does not want to construct any image in her mind. She does not scream. She does not cry. She stays there, curled up and frozen from the impact of her father's final shriek that took away his life. Fresh tears in her eyes well up, but do not fall. Unsaid words of sorrow and anger seek to choke her throat, but do not come out. The chaos of the crowd, their words pregnant with another kind of hate, all of it floats in front of her moist eyes like an ugly procession of angry ghosts. And then, she can almost smell someone's flesh burning, her father's. But she still does not go out of the cocoon of the mattress. She says all the prayers she has memorized at this age, just to be sure she takes names of other gods too. And so there she is. Her back is aching because of the fetal position she has been in all this while. Her brittle bones are now announcing that they have been bent beyond limits. Who has ever won a war against the call and lamentations of one's own body? And so, against her will, she comes out of the folded mattress. And once she's outside, silence. The kind of silence that deepens its sharp pincers in ears and hearts alike. The kind of silence that lodges itself in mind and bends time. The kind of silence that is not the silence before the storm, but the storm itself. And then, before she can move forward and start feeling the entrails of her father scattered here and there on the floor, the forces of nature spare her that grief. The kind of grief no human should have to go through. And from the window comes a swinging ball of fire, hitting her on the face. As her fragile body slams the wall and she comes down unconscious, one hanging photograph of her father, too, comes down with her. On the other hand, old men write columns praising liberalism. Cinephiles debate on the next Marvel movie. Cool teens share memes on the riots. Teenagers leer at pictures of models they follow on Snapchat. The neutral people write in their Facebook posts that they are not into politics. News anchor break decibel records to serve their political masters. The usual cycle goes on. The streets keep burning. But the daughter's soul sparkles and gleams because it is finally rising above all the fire and fury. And on the way to the boundless heaven, it meets the sparkling soul of her father too. And when they intertwine, they form the brightest star. The star which proves all the cheesy fairy tales correct. The kind of star that burns regardless of the dark billowing clouds threatening to cover it. The kind of star which is sometimes the only hope for another girl in another time, locked in some room, looking at it from the slight crack in the window in the night and making a wish. So soft, so gentle, that it even makes the one true God shed a tear or two. Thank you.